Welcome to Caldwell Courtside. I'm Devon Long. I'm joined by my co-host, Makayla Frias, and today we'll be doing a year in review of the 2024 College of Idaho Athletic Department season. Usually we would have a guest on our show today, but today we won't. It'll just be us two talking about what's going on or what happened this year. In sports, a lot of big things happened at the College of Idaho. One of the first things we should start off with is that we were named the 2023-2024 Cascade Conference all-sports champion, so that's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yep, it was a really great start to the year, kind of winning that and solidifying just how impactful this athletic department can be. Some of the other changes that we got this year were the improvements across campus. I know we started on the softball and baseball field with new turf, as well as you guys on the football field, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, super exciting stuff. We finally got new turf at Simplot Stadium here in Caldwell, and the turf just felt so amazing to finally be able to play and not get as many turf burns as we used to on the old field. And it was just really exciting to bring out the new turf for this season. And I'm sure women's soccer and men's soccer and lacrosse are also happy about us getting new turf as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on, we also had new basketball floor put in for men's and women's basketball as well as volleyball. That was a huge remodel to the gym and kind of really brought in a new look to the J.A. Albertson's Activity Center.
That's right. And then one more new addition is the Kristen Buffington hitting facility. You and the baseball team, You guys get to use it. So tell us about how that's been impactful for you guys so far.
The hitting facility has been a great addition. We have really enjoyed, I know our pitchers and hitters have enjoyed getting to get in there, hit and pitch during their free time, throw their bullpens, things like that. We'll be working with the baseball team through the winter and the start of the spring to kind of figure out a schedule that works best for both of us. And I think it's going to be great moving forward to have that.
Oh, yeah. And then it's super exciting, too, because that was something that's donated to the school. So hopefully our school gets more and more donations and stuff like that for us athletes to be able to improve our game off the field as well. And, in the classroom here at the College of Idaho.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and rolling into this year in review. I think we're going to start with the month of January, work our way down from those sports from there. So we're going to start with men's basketball. Men's basketball last season had a spectacular season. They're coming off a national championship. They had very high expectations, and they were able to meet those expectations. They had the regular season conference championship that they won throughout the year. Then, unfortunately, not able to carry that success all the way through to the postseason. Ultimately lost in the semifinals of that national tournament. So the men's basketball come up short there, but really big with the player accolades last year, starting with Samaje Morgan winning Conference Player of the Year for the Cascade Conference last year, and then Stratton Rogers, who was coming off the bench but won Defensive Player of the Year for the Cascade Conference for the Yotes. Then we have a couple all-conference nods. Samaje Morgan, like we mentioned earlier, Drew Wyman, Jake O'Neal, and then Johnny Radford. Yeah. Then some bigger picture as well. Samaje Morgan, we keep saying his name, All-American, first team All-American last year. And then Drew Wyman, another guy we talk about a lot, Drew Wyman was a third team All-American, but was also an academic All-American as well. So those were pretty big feats right there for the men's basketball team last year.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a tremendous season and a really great run postseason and then on. And moving into the women's basketball team, they kind of embraced some new leadership roles with inaugural season of head coach Kyle Erickson. Throughout the season last year, Mia Austin received all-conference honorable mention. And then at the start of this season, they brought on their new assistant coach, Cassidy Johnson, to help kind of boost those leadership roles and work through their team dynamic and hopefully have an incredible season this year.
That's right. And with just the start of the new season, you could definitely tell Coach Kyle Erickson and his new assistant have changed the culture in the program. And you could just see that the program's just going to get better and better as the years go on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next we'll be talking about is the Yotes ski team. The men's, they took second at the USCSA Western Regionals, and women's took third, which led them to national. And the Yotes have 4 All-American nods in skiing. We had Sasha Mueller and Carson Parko, both with giant slalom skiing. Ben Troyer, who was a skier cross, and then Michael Coleman, All-American in the slopestyle.
Yeah, very impressive run for all of those athletes. They really did a great job. And to move on to swim and dive, we first want to mention their new head coach, Brian Peterson, making their way into the season and kind of helping them reestablish some of their leadership and move through the season. And at the start of this year, they have quite a few qualifiers for nationals. First up is Maddie Mann in dive, Matt Logston in dive as well, Cahill Robinson for the 100-yard breaststroke, and Carl Yount for the 50-yard, and Carl Yount in the 50-yard freestyle. We also wanted to mention that the pool is undergoing some remodeling so that it'll help the Yotes in further competitions with hosting events and eventually be open to all student athletes.
And then the next sport we'll be talking about is our women's tennis team. Our women's tennis team joined the GSAT conference for the first time last year. And in its first year, made the conference tournament, which is a very big deal. And then we have a tennis player, Lauren Kreutzer, who earned academic all-district last year.
That's a really awesome run for them. Entering a new conference, it can be tough, but I'm sure they had a great run, and I'm excited to see them, how they perform this year. Moving on to our golf team, both men's and women's. Tristan Bellew won the Walla Walla Invitation and Conference Golfer of the Week. Kaylee Jones, Tristan Bellew, and Parker Edwards all received all conference honors.
That's awesome, man. Like, our golf team does pretty well. The women's team, the growth from last year to this year, only go from 2 players to having a full roster now. They'll be able to have a big impact on the Cascade Conference this year, which I'm looking forward to. And then speaking of impact on the Cascade Conference, College of Idaho introduced a brand new sport this year to the school. Beach volleyball just had its inaugural season this past spring. Coach Mack in the inaugural season won Conference Co-Coach of the Year, and then Haley McCune won Co-Attacker of the Year for the Cascade Conference, and then Emily Vandenberg and Liza Montalvo receive all honorable mention nods for being a pair.
Yeah, awesome start. Coach Mack has got a great roster this year, and really looking up for them.
That's right.
And going on to men's lacrosse, we want to nod that they beat number 7 Montana in 3 overtimes, and they also have an All-American, Paul O'Neill. First team All-Conference goes to Ty Burnett and Paul O'Neill. Second team went to Alex Ozuna, David Alvarado, Kale Brandmeier, and Kip Childs. And then honorable mention goes to Joaquin Ruby.
Nice. And the lacrosse team had a very great season last year with a lot of personal accolades. Along with the next sport, we're going to talk about baseball, receiving a lot of personal accolades. We're just going to start with pitcher Oliver Massey. At one point received the Cascade Conference Pitcher of the Week, making his contribution there. And then another pitcher for the College of Idaho, Colby Dursky, sets an NAIA record for most appearances as a relief pitcher. And then Chandler Stockings with a postseason award with the Gold Glove Award at shortstop for the Cascade Conference.
Yeah, super great season for the Yotes, and I'm really excited to see some of those returners come back and make an impact on the field.
That's right. And then moving along into this next sport is something you're the expert in. Tell us about how softball did last season.
Yes, our softball season, we had a really great run. We had another 30-plus win season. We earned a bid to the NAIA opening round going to Fayette, Missouri, and we had quite a lot of success individually as well. Heidi Haruza, Annie Polster, and Lola Rocker were all recognized for our Cascade Conference first team recognition. Kaylee McDaniel and Lexi Navarrete were recognized for CCC second team, and Maddie Powell was recognized for the CCC honorable mention, just only in her sophomore season. We also had 2 Golden Glovers on our team. At third base, we had Lindsey Jones, and in center field was Heidi Haruza. And Lola Walker also received NAIA All-American, so it was an incredible run, and I'm so excited to see everyone coming back and all the impact that we're going to make this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Coach Al Mendiola seems like he definitely has you guys going in the right direction for this next season, especially because you guys did lose a lot of seniors. So it'll be super exciting to see you guys come out and play this spring.
Absolutely. And we're going to move on to track and field. Also a very successful program with a lot of wins, accolades under their belt. The women's program was named the USTFCCA Program of the Year with the Best Combined Program Track and Field, both indoor and outdoor and cross country. Abby Schertz, Kylie Quinton, Charlie Duff, Kahea Figueroa were all All-Americans in the 4x800, and Abby Schertz was another All-American in the 1500 meter. But we also had Hunter Gilbert, was an All-American in hurdles, which is only his 7th time ever running in this event, and we know that he also made quite an impact for you guys in the last few seasons on the football field as well.
That's right. Hunter this year was our starting running back, and you could tell the training he had in the spring with track and field definitely carried over his play on the football field this year.
Absolutely. And not only track and field, also had many all-conference recognition going to Abby Schertz, Tanner Sackman, Star Heron, Elise Tingelstad, Molly Connor, Kahea Figueroa, and Elias Everest.
That's right. And then Tanner Sackman, also another football player, a dual sport athlete for the football and track and field too.
Yeah. quite an impressive feat. The men's and women's teams both finished in third, and Elise Singlestad single-handedly had an incredible career, earning CSC Academic All-American of the Year, CCC Scholar Athlete of the Year, the 10K All-American finishing in second, 5K All-American finishing third, and 5K NAIA National Champ finishing her career with 10 total All-American honors.
That's a crazy resume for an athlete to have right there. That's definitely like Hall of Fame worthy type accolades. You know, that shows like how big of a program our track and field team is. And it's like, if you look further on later in the video, we'll get in the cross country, but they also have like those big accolades as well. So very successful program for the track and field and cross country teams.
Very well versed. And so now we're going to pass it back on to you and tell us about your guys' seasons.
That's right. So football this year, we kicked off this year with the first ever night game in the modern era for a while. So College of Idaho football's been back for 10 years. And this last season, our first home game, we decided to have 2 night games to kick off the year. Crazy atmosphere. Absolutely love it. I hope our team does it again. It was super fun.
Totally.
Great way to change the program. And then just to keep going on, our star quarterback, Andy Peters, breaks a bunch of records this season. Most notably, he has the most career passing yards record at the school, the most career passing touchdowns, and the most career passing completions. So Andy Peters had an incredible career here at the College of Idaho.
Absolutely.
And then just some all-conference nods at the end of the year. We had Willie Nelson and Kobe Roberts both on the defensive side of the ball, earning first-team all-conference nods. Then we have Brett Gittison, Hunter Gilbert, who we mentioned earlier on track, Josh Horn and Gavin Ozuna all receiving second-team nominations. And then going back, Andy Peters, Nate Metz, Eli Makita, Jacob Arms, Tori Watkins, Jace Appleby, and Tommy Hauser all getting honorable mention nods for a postseason award. So football had a pretty incredible season. You know, standards were high, just didn't meet it, but still a successful season without a doubt.
Yeah, really impressive just across the board with the all-conference recognition. And for our men's soccer team, they also had a really great run this year. Jorge Fernandez received CCC All-Conference First Team, leading the team with 12 goals and 3 assists. He had the most scoring points of anyone else on the team. As for CCC All-Conference Second Team honors goes to Grant Embry, and honorable mention selections go to Caden Green and Ben Gallum.
That's right. The men's soccer team having a fantastic season. Now moving into women's soccer here at the College of Idaho. What an incredible season they had. It's record-setting season. Probably one for the books. Probably one of the best seasons they'll ever have here at the College of Idaho. No losses in the regular season. Complete perfect season. Had a few ties. But ultimately, no losses there. Super impressive. Perfect 12-0 in conference play. 20 overall record of 21-2.
Wow.
Won the conference tournament, scoring 14 goals and having 3 clean sheets, making the first time ever in school history making it to the NAI final side for the women's soccer tournament. They've always made the tournament, but never can make it out of the first 2 rounds. Finally do it, go on to the final side. They won 2 games down there in Pensacola, Florida. Absolute shootouts. Ultimately finished as semifinalists and ended up losing to the eventual national champion. But our women's soccer team, they're very young, so they should be looking for a really good season next year. Some personal accolades here. Eden McCoffey, all-tournament team for the NAIA postseason tournament, and she made that. College of Idaho has some All-American nods this year. Super crazy, super rare. Eden McCoffey, second team All-American. And then third team, we have Isabel DeVille, Larissa Wagner, and then Kenny Lyons to receive those third team All-Americans. And we don't stop there. We still got all-conference. Larissa Wagner, first team all-conference, but also the Offensive Player of the Year. And Eden McCoffey, name mentioned earlier, goes along with that first team all-conference list, joined by Alexis Yagurin, Kenny Lyons, and then Isabel DeVille. And then second team, we have Natasha Davis and Delaney Reed. And then honorable mention, Gianna Islava, who we had on the show earlier this year, who gave us some great insight on the season going on. And then Coach of the Year, Coach Smitty, Brian Smith, wins the Cascade Conference Coach of the Year, and then surpassed 200 total wins, and then won the team Cascade Conference Team Sportsmanship Awards. So not only
Wow.
do we just win on the field, we also win with our character and then just being good people on the field as well. So big shout out to our women's soccer team. Doesn't end there either. More records have been broken this year. Isabel DeVille has set the career record for most minutes played by a Yotes women's soccer player ever. And then Larissa Wegner and Natasha Davis are tied for the most career game-winning goals at 11.
Wow. Such an impressive run for those women. They really and truly deserved all of the recognition and success this year. It was incredible.
That's right. They definitely are one of the highlights of the year.
And moving on to another incredibly impressive season, we'll talk about women's volleyball, who made their way to the NAI National Tournament in Sioux City, Iowa. They had such an impressive run, having multiple top 25 wins, including 4 sweeps throughout conference play and postseason play as well. Super impressive run for them. And to move on to some of their individual successes, we had Savannah Hutchins, who broke 1,000 career assists, and Janae Rayborn, who surpassed 500 career kills. And not only that, but coming from their leadership, head coach Liz Mendiola surpassed 500 career wins as well. Moving on to their postseason accolades, we had Haley McCune and Shelby Nickel receiving CCC First Team All-Conference. Savannah Hutchins and Alexa Wheeler both received CCC Honorable. After their final game and their season concluded, it just came out that Haley McCune received ABCA All-Region Honorable Mention, and Shelby Nickel made ABCA All-Region First Team.
Yeah, quite an impressive season right there for the women's volleyball team. Super impressive going back-to-back years on the NAI National Tournament. Hopefully they could keep going this streak going on. And then we're just going to transition into our last sport of the year, cross country for men and women's for the Yotes. Very impressive season. You know, last year we had the women's team win nationals.
Yep.
This year we flipped the script. The men's now won nationals this year. Women's finishing with 7th overall at the NAIA. Such an incredible year to be a Yote fan, you know, just winning all those national championships, especially under the program that Don Bolin has created here. And some personal accolades here. Danny Butler, the USTF CCCA West Region Runner of the Year. And then to go along with Danny's award right there, he also wins the Cascade Conference Runner of the Year. And then C of I runner Kahea Figuera wins Cascade Runner of the Year for the women's cross country. Men's and women's team both won Cascade Conference championships, so sweeping the conference awards right there. Don Bolin, like I mentioned earlier, he was the NAIA men's, the USTF CCCA men's, the USTF CCCA West Region men and women's, and Cascade Conference men and women's Coach of the Year. That is multiple Coaches of the Year awards right there for Don Bolin, and he's created such a great program there. We've had him on the show earlier in the year, and he's given some great insight and some great knowledge on what it's like to be a student athlete and how to coach his kids. Yeah. He's a great coach.
Great guy.
Creating a great program there. And then to go along with the postseason awards, 7 all-conference nods for the women's cross-country team. Those are names that include Kahea Figuera, Julia Gilbert, Sarah Bolin, Larissa Maurer, Molly Connors, Kimbry Knudsen, and then Kylie Quinton. And then 2 All-American nods for the women, Kahea Figuera and then Julia Gilbert receiving those nods. And then for the men, all-conference nods for 6 of them. We have Danny Butler, Hayden Bostrom, Elias Everett, Brevin Vaughn, and then Ryan, and then Cyrus Wilson, with the All-American nods going to 4 runners, which are Danny Butler, Hayden Bostrom, Elias Everett, and then Brevin Vaughn.
Wow. Truly such an incredible season, incredible year for all of Yotes athletics.
That's right. Very successful year. It's like all we do is win.
We're so proud of all the programs here at Yale Athletics, and we're so happy to be able to represent you guys and talk more about them all on the podcast. We hope our entire Yote fam has a happy holidays, and we are so excited to see you back in 2025.